It's really the ultimate hunter that got me even looking at Cold Steel. If you're familiar with Cold Steel's catalog, you'll know that this design is a far cry from all the other designs that are more kind of way out there, outlandish, weird freaking designs, just impractical. So when I stumbled upon this, I thought, what the hell? Really? Love it. After using that knife for a while, I realized just how practical it was, and I thought to myself, are there any other models out there that you could maybe EDC if you wanted to? The first knife that attracted my attention was the AD-15. So I bought an AD-15 light. Here it is. Got it? And thought, what? This is light? I wonder what the heavy is. So I bought the heavy, and I'm here to tell you, I mean, look at the scale. There's really no difference. It's ridiculous. It's basically a cost thing. One is a little lighter on your wallet than the other one. Or you could look at it differently. One lightens your wallet a lot more than the other one, but the name should be reversed. Now that I've confused you, what makes the light different than the regular one? Two things, and that's it. This is AUS10A and a Zytel scale, whereas this is S35VN and black micarta scale. There's your difference. Now, some of you might be saying, you know, it's really called AUS10A. I don't think so, and I'm going to stick with the way I say it because ATS34 came out way before this was even a glimmer in its dad's eye. ATS34, not ATS. So when Spyderco started making knives and it had AUS8 and AUS6, that's what I called it. And even the guys at the Spyderco booth called it AUS. No one was saying AUS. Is AUS10A a bad steel? No, but it is more of a budget steel than S35VN. Hence the price difference. Micarta handles are going to cost you a little bit more because these have to be milled down and micarta is more expensive, whereas this is molded into this shape. There really only is one other difference between these two knives, and it's the blade finish. The AUS10 has a satin finish going in one direction throughout the entire blade, and the S35VN has the satin finish going this way on the blade bevel and this way on the flats. When I received my AD-15 light, I was impressed with the fit and the finish and all that good stuff. I mean, these edges were just a little bit on the sharp side. No biggie, didn't really care. And these edges were just a little bit sharp, but again, not something that I felt like I needed to do anything about. On the contrary, when I got this one, which is the S35VN version, these edges were very sharp, as well as this. You might be saying to yourself, big freaking deal. If that's sharp, it is kind of a big deal. You see that protrudes past the handle. You're doing a lot of cutting. That knuckle of your index finger is going to be pushing against that. That's going to create a hot spot real fast. When I say it was sharp, yes indeed, it was sharp. You could scrape a fire steel against that and shoot sparks. So you don't need that against your finger. And then the top part, that's just tough on your thumb after a while. I was able to very easily round off those edges. My thumb stud on the AD-15 regular is a little different than the AD-15 light. In that, this has a number 10 hex. The knife you receive will have a slotted. The shape of the two is slightly different as well. The one on my AD-15 regular, it's just a little bit fatter, a little squattier, because I bought an SR1. And when I received it, I thought, what the hell is this? This is a massive freak show of a knife, but I really like that thumb stud, so I just harvested the thumb stud out of there. Here's the thing that might turn you off from this knife. The way this knife works is you have this notch and this lock bar. When you go to here, that lock bar drops down in there. This scorpion lock is one solid piece of aluminum. anodized black that goes all the way around. The whole thing moves. See that? This is all one solid piece. The spring is inside here. If you give this a good squeeze, it drives that little bar further down into that notch, which takes away the ability to one hand close this. You have to, two hands to pry that scorpion lock out of there and then close the knife. And then you're back to, fidget time. You know what's really practical is this lock on the Benchmade. I know these are crazy expensive. They're still fun to play with, but the big advantage is when you push down really hard cutting something with this knife, nothing gets bound up. It's still a breeze to close. Here we're going to cut some cardboard with the AD-15. No loss of edge cutting these pieces of cardboard. You can see it goes through there pretty easily. Now against the grain. AD-15 light. Now against the grain. Same thing, really no loss of edge on the cardboard. Now let's cut some hose. This is old hose, so it's kind of hard. It's 4-ply. You can see that AD-15 goes through it, 6 cuts, does a nice job, and absolutely no damage to the edge. AD-15 light goes through, really no problem. Couldn't really sense much in the way of a difference. I left both of these edges pretty much factory, just sharpened them a little bit, but didn't change the bevel. So they are an even test. The AD-15 light, however, did suffer a little edge damage, and I think it's more from the cutting board than it is from going through the hose. Is it a good knife for making feather sticks and that sort of thing? Seems to cut right through this wood, no problem. I forget what kind of wood this is, but it's definitely not soft. It's pretty hard, and it's seasoned over a year. Get down to making feather sticks, nice thin slices. Seems to do that no problem. whack on the wood a little bit. Oh, careful where you say that. As much as I like this knife and play with it and actually do use it and carry it around for stuff, it's really not that practical. Take a look at my pants. These are brand new Carhartt pants I've only had for 2 weeks, and look what this knife has done to it. Nah, that's a complete lie. Look at the pattern on that handle. It reminds me of a farrier's rasp. Pretty aggressive. So don't kid yourself. If you don't think that's going to cause damage to your pockets, you got another thing coming. It is definitely going to. It's going to tear them up fast, but it's going to keep it in there pretty secure. I guess if you get hung upside down by your ankles, your knife isn't going to fall out. I will say this, that is one of the most practical pocket clips I've ever seen on a cold steel knife. Between these two, this is the one that I'm going to carry. Practical blade shape, easy one hand open and close, and it's not so freaking heavy. I thought this was a heavy knife until I got this. Hope you found this informational. Is that a word? Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time.